Namaskar, good morning, welcome to one more class on rural management. I am Ashwin Kumar here. We will be discussing about rural tourism. So what are we going to explore today? Today we are going to explore a very important thing which can be beneficial to each one of you, that is national strategy on rural homestays, where you can convert your home which is in a village into a homestay. So what are the guidelines that have to be followed? Let us see, let us understand. So what are the guidelines which the government is giving? Let us understand that. So this is national strategy on rural homestays. So what are they saying? Travel is increasingly becoming experiential. There is an increasing trend for experiential tourism, which we have been discussing in other classes. To know new things and experience cultures, cuisine, traditions. Today, the discerning traveler is prepared to go to great distances and to previously unknown places to get a unique experience. The tourist is also looking at being a responsible traveler and about giving back to the host communities. Now, what are these? Rural tourism is an enriching experience with culture and nature. The slow pace of life in the village, far away from the hustle and bustle of the big city, is an experience that will rejuvenate the visitor. The villages and the rural economies also have practitioners of unique arts and crafts in their original forms that are hard to come by in the cities. Rural tourism focuses on the visitor traveling to rural areas and actively participating in the rural lifestyle. The tourist also gets a chance to imbibe the traditions and culture of the area. The next point. Rural homestays provide authentic rural experience. If you are staying there at least for a day or two, you will really enjoy what the rural lifestyle is. The homestay provides the tourist with an accommodation and an authentic local experience and interaction with the local host community. It opens the possibilities to understand a new and untapped place. The visitor also gets to know the unique lifestyle of the village at much close quarters. The homestay may offer various activities for the guests to exclusively experience the cultural nuances of the area. Cultural nuances, that's the key, those are the two key words. Rural homestays provide opportunities for variety of activities. Depending on the geographic location and cultural ethos of the place, rural homestays provide tourists opportunities for a variety of activities such as taking a tour of the village to know local history and insights, participate in the nature tours, trekking, learning how to weave a silk or cotton cloth, participating in the farm activities, learn a specified local skill such as cooking the local cuisine. That is one important aspect which we will be discussing in the next sessions. Cooking the local cuisine, understanding the local cuisine, serene experiences of houseboat sailing around the backwaters, safaris by jeep or camel rides into the countryside, interact with the tribes and to face off with wildlife. It may broadly include varied experiences. What are the varied experiences? Let us see. Heritage and culture, ethnic tourism, learning and education from the natural environment about rural lifestyle and culture, ecotourism, scenic value, that is nature tourism, religious, pilgrim tourism, adventure, sports based, that is again adventure tourism, agrarian lifestyle, that is agro-tourism. These are the broadly classified, which you already know, but still for the sake of when we are discussing about homestays, we should also understand these aspects. Rural homestays and community development. Rural homestays and communities are complementary to each other's progress, and the development of one accelerates the development of others. The development of the community attracts increased turnover of guests, and guest turnover generates income for the community. Rural homestays can revitalize local art and crafts, redevelop rural areas and rejuvenate rural life. The interaction with the visitors will also expand the knowledge and horizons of the local people. Next one. Rural homestays to promote rural and sustainable tourism. Rural homestays can thus give a big push to rural tourism, benefit rural communities and reduce the adverse environment impact on tourism. Rural homestays are a great opportunity to promote rural and sustainable tourism. In contrast to mass tourism, rural homestays is a low scale, low density, flexible and spontaneous. It provides an alternative source of income to the rural host population. It is owned and operated by the local communities and economic benefits go directly to them. In case you are having a house in the village, if it can be remodified according to the guidelines given in this particular session, you can definitely earn an additional income. And this is also exempt for certain taxes also. So direct benefit to the beneficiary. You can host a person in your rural village. What is the national strategy for promotion of rural homestays? Ministry of Tourism has already notified national strategy and roadmap for rural tourism in the country, and rural homestays are crucial for the growth of rural tourism. The ministry has also prepared a national strategy for sustainable tourism in the country. The national strategy for promotion of rural homestays is in line with the national strategies for rural tourism and sustainable tourism. Both are more or less similar, but with the minor differences. The strategy aims at recognizing the role of rural homestays in promoting rural and sustainable tourism and strengthening the support of rural homestays. Now, what are the vision, mission and the goals of this particular roadmap? Vision: to develop rural homestays as an experiential tourism product which can give boost to rural tourism, provide entrepreneurial opportunities to rural people and lead to community development. What is the mission? To provide necessary financial, technical and marketing support to promote rural homestays in the country. Then what are the strategic objectives? To develop rural homestays as an experiential tourism product which can give boost to rural tourism, provide entrepreneurial opportunities to rural people and lead to community development. To cater to the increasing needs of visitors for experiential tourism. To create an entrepreneurial and job opportunities in the rural areas. To promote sustainable, responsible and inclusive tourism through the promotion of rural homestays. To promote rural art and craft, culture, ecotourism and other forms of nature tourism. These are the broad categories of the strategic objectives which is on the national roadmap for the rural homestays. What are the key strategic pillars? In order to develop rural tourism in the country, the strategy focuses on the following key pillars. They should be given an incentive for rural homestays, state assessment and ranking on rural homestays, digital technologies for rural homestays, developing clusters for rural homestays, very important, combining 2-3 villages close by and creating a rural cluster, and marketing support for the rural homestays, capacity building for rural homestays, governance and institutional framework. Who are the key stakeholders? Obviously, it is the central government, that is central ministers, state governments, Panchayat Raj institutions, industry, NGOs, local community. Then what are the salient features of the rural homestays? Location. The rural homestays will be located in rural areas. There will usually be natural and cultural attractions in the surrounding areas. The next is the village and the community. Village and community support will be crucial for the success of rural homestays. Your village, your people, the hospitality which you extend to the tourist is very crucial for the success of the rural homestays project. The rural homestays in a village should be organized and have support of the village panchayat. There should be common facilities in the village for welcoming the guests, performing art and cultural events and other such activities for guests to experience. The local community should also support in various activities including the provision of guides, souvenirs and other things which I am sure most of the villages have. We need to orient them once again. Then the host. The host of the homestay will usually be staying at the property and be responsible for providing hospitality to the guest. The host may have some support staff and tie up for various cultural and other activities for the guest. The host shall be in good health and free of criminal record. Very important. The host shall be of any health issues and also free of criminal record. This is one of the guidelines where the people will be coming and checking your rural homestay. Accommodation. The house. The house shall be in good, stable and safe condition. There should be provision for electricity and clean water supply. The design and building materials shall reflect the vernacular architecture and local identity. The guest rooms. Provide basic amenities and furnishing in the guest rooms and ensure that they are properly ventilated and well lit. Keeping in view that these are residential properties, there will be limit on the number of rooms to be let out. Next, the toilet. Preferably provide a western type of toilet and bathroom attached to the guest room with basic toilet and bathroom facilities, including the guest should be provided with cold and hot water for bathing. That is especially geyser. If you do not have a geyser connection and everything, you can give a portable geyser, but make sure then switch off. It will have some health issues, safety issues. So even you want to put a portable geyser, make sure that you switch off the light, then remove the water heater. Then the kitchen. The kitchen shall be in good clean condition and well ventilated. Kitchen utensils shall be in good conditions, clean and kept in a dry place. Cuisines. Meals from very integral part of the stay in homestays. The local cuisine should be preferably served to the guest, because when the guest is coming there, make sure you serve the local dish, but in very minute quantities first. Let them taste first. Once they feel that they would like to have more, please have more, but don't get into the habit of serving them more. they may end up having some health issues, or they might leave the it can go waste. So my dear friends, so first serve it in small quantities. At times delicious organic food should be picked fresh and cooked straight from the garden or the farm. That's the ideal way. Hygiene and safety. The host family should provide their personal hygiene well. The family members and they are involved in good food preparation or service shall have good personal hygiene and be properly attired. Guests shall only be served safe drinking water. All room, kitchens and toilets shall be kept clean and free of odor, dust, cobwebs and other things. Toilets shall be regularly cleaned and kept free from dirt, stains and odor. Very, very important. Waste management, very important. Dustbin should be kept in rooms, toilets, common areas and outside the homestay. Collect all dry waste like plastics, glass paper, etc. and put it in the street dustbins. Better thing is to separate the dry waste and liquid waste. Local activities. Homestays and the local community should organize various activities as per the geographic locations and socio-cultural milieu of the place. The involvement of local community and other training local youths will be crucial. Training the local youths is very, very important as per these activities. They can have a simple competition, the regular handicrafts, some fair, mela. Show them around the village and let them discuss with senior people. Let there be a moderator with the local language as well as with the language of the tourist. So that helps a lot in the bridging and maintaining excellent relations. Basic communication with the guest. The host must be polite, greet the guest with warmth and provide the best form of traditional hospitality. The host must wear decent and clean clothes and should respect the cultural ethos of the travelers. The host should not take action or use any words which make the guest uncomfortable. States to exempt rural homestays from licensing. The state governments will provide necessary exemptions wherever feasible to the rural homestays from the provisions of Sarai Act 1867 or any other act relevant to the subject for the time being in force. Rural homestays shall not be required to obtain any license from any authority under any such act to provide food or lodging services to the guests. Declare yourself as a rural homestay, your particular property in your rural village. So you don't require any license from any authority. The only thing that requires is nice hospitality, good food, clean toilets, nice environment around the village. See that the entire visit of the tourist is memorable. He goes back with happy memories. That should be our main goal. Benefits under the schemes for self-employment and enterprise development. Rural homestays should be considered eligible projects under schemes such as PMEGP to promote self-employment, village industries and other schemes for the promotion and development of MSME service enterprises under central and state governments. Rural homestays should accordingly be eligible to get benefits under these schemes, under the MSME schemes. Dedicated state schemes for financial support to rural homestays. The state government should also frame dedicated schemes to provide support to rural homestays. The scheme may provide subsidy for setting up homestay, subsidy of 30% of the fixed capital invested subject to ceiling of 1 lakh rupees per lettable room with maximum 6 rooms in convergence with other schemes such as PMEGP. Next, operational support. The state government may provide that rural homestays shall not be treated as commercial entities and shall be entitled to power and water tariff as applicable to domestic or residential use. No entertainment or other commercial tax will be imposed on rural homestays in connection with food, lodging or cultural activities. See, performance based support. State government may provide performance based incentives to rural homestays on the successful completion of the establishment as below. That is 15,000 rupees for completing 50 days of guest accommodation in first year. That is an incentive I am trying to talk. 20,000 for completing 75 days of guest accommodation in the second year and 25,000 rupees for completing 100 days of guest accommodation in the third year. So every year if you host 50 days as a rural homestay, from the state government should give an incentive of 15,000 rupees. Second year if you are doing it 75 days, they should give you 20,000. Third year it will be 25,000. So this is kind of incentives will motivate people to encourage tourists to come and stay in their places, rural homestays. Assistance for common facilities. Rural homestays to succeed require community and public infrastructure in the village, especially the community halls, Gram Panchayat hall. The state government should provide requisite support under various schemes for setting up common facilities and public infrastructure such as community centers, open air theatre, souvenir shops, etc. to enhance the engagement of visitors within the local community and visitor experience. So, it is not only for the foreign tourists, it is also for the local domestic use. Now, what are the assistance for common facilities? Rural homestays to succeed require community and public infrastructure in the village. The state government should provide requisite support with the open air theatre, which we have discussed, and partnership with the industry. Industries in the field of travel, hospitality and tourism can develop rural homestays in a cluster. The Ministry of Tourism and state governments may identify such industries for partnership in developing rural homestays. Such an industry should preferably have a booking platform to generate demand for the homestays, maybe a website and promotion of that website. The industry may identify clusters and prospective rural homestays and undertake their development, capacity building and marketing. The government will support them in the following activities. What? In which way? Let us see. Administrative support to the Department of Tourism at the state level and district administration at the district level. A dedicated officer at the district level may be designated for coordination with the industry in addressing the challenges of rural tourism, rural homestays. Facilitating support for setting up rural homestay under various schemes. Facilitating support for setting up common facilities in the selected clusters and villages. Facilitating training support for rural homestays. Facilitating support for quality accreditation. All these things very important, especially the quality accreditation. If your rural homestay gets a quality accredited, very good. The tourists will be very open to come and stay there. That itself will give a major boost to you. It is not only to you in your village, but also to people others in the village. If they have got some extra room, kindly start planning for a rural homestay for the foreign tourists. The role of self-help groups of women in running rural homestays, very important. Women can play a significant role in setting up rural homestays. Local women self-help groups can encourage their members to take up rural homestay to supplement their incomes. So, self-help groups can provide larger support to individual homestays in making them a success. Self-help groups can be provided with financial and institutional support by the government for promoting rural homestays. Self-help groups may be provided for training. Very important is to get trained. Without training, do not start any of the rural homestays. Get properly trained by the concerned district officer, by the concerned district coordinator. Kindly discuss with the concerned district collector also. Then, development of model homestay clusters by Ministry of Tourism. Ministry of Tourism will develop one model homestays cluster in each state in partnership with the industry. The Ministry of Tourism will select an industry partner for the development of model homestay cluster and will provide necessary institutional financial support along with the support of the state government, panchayat and NGOs to promote and develop the rural homestay cluster. I hope you are understanding the importance of these rural homestay clusters, because the more the number of the clusters, the better for the tourists, and the tourists can come in large number of groups. It is not that one individual will be coming from one particular place. Definitely there will be a group of at least minimum 2 to 3 families. And most important target is our own NRIs, non-resident Indians. They will be the ideal targets to welcome them and stay in their own village. If they are from the same own village, let you give them the comforts which you are giving. They have got it in 5-star or 3-star hotel in their own village. See, that becomes an incentive for them to stay and have a nice nostalgia, the feeling of nostalgia, visiting their own childhood and other areas, which they will be proud to share with their own children in the next generation. So think about it. Rural homestay is fantastic way to increase your income too and build lot of cultural heritage bond. Let's go to the next one. State assessment and ranking as a tool for capacity building. Very important, because state also has to assess all the rural homestays, give them the ranking, maybe from top 10 rural homestays, put it up in the state government website. This will help make things easier for the potential tourist, the foreign tourist or a domestic tourist. It will be implemented as a capacity development exercise to encourage mutual learning among all states and provide support in policy formulation and implementation. State ranking to professional and independent experts. Not only your customers, the tourists who come and visit the rural homestays will be giving the feedback. It will all be done, the audits will be done by professional and independent experts here. State specific report for homestays. The assessment of ranking will help prepare state specific report containing an analysis of respective ecosystem and promotion of rural homestays, strengths, priority areas for future and best practices to be adopted by the states. Let us say one particular state has developed beautiful rural homestays. Typically, let us take the example of Sikkim, Gangtok. They have developed the rural homestays plan very well, and they are doing extraordinary job there. If that best practices can be implemented in other parts of the country, it will also generate income at the rural level. Then state specific report for homestays. The assessment and ranking, the same thing which I said, homestays, strength and priority areas for the future. What are the future planning? How they should do it? How can we better the process always? Then the national and global best practices for homestays. Not only in India, we should also learn from the homestays which are there in other parts of the globe. How are they managing there? How are they inviting the tourists there? So what kind of cuisines they are providing there? So all these things, it's very important to understand. There are several success stories in rural homestays in the country which will be documented as part of the state assessment and ranking. Every state will be known which state is going to have the maximum number of rural homestays, which state is providing the best possible comforts to the rural homestays, and what kind of support the state government is giving to the rural homestays makes lots of difference. The ministry will study and benchmark these models and practices and prepare a toolkit for replication and adoption of such practices by various states. Then public-private community partnership model. Definitely you can have a tie-up with a local tourist provider, if he is financially sound, and start having a joint operation to start the rural homestays. There is a need to develop effective models for public, private and community partnership for rural homestays based on the successful case studies in the country and globally. Some few case studies we have seen in few other sessions. Community partnership is a key to promoting and developing rural homestays. Very important, as I said, is the digital platforms which offer both marketplace and payment system. So if you are going with the phone pay, Paytm or other issues, it will be very, very easier. So kindly do not go in for the cash model, avoid the cash model. So because the best thing is to go for digital platforms. In case you have got proper electricity and internet connectivity there at your place, it will very help the tourist also and yourself also in promoting your place. The digital platforms are the key to the success of homestays, definitely. Especially the social media platforms. In Facebook, you can create a separate Facebook account or Instagram account, a short video on Instagram or a TikTok, whatever the social media channels which you are using. Be connected with a WhatsApp, have a dedicated phone number for that particular thing, don't mix it with others. So because when you are taking rural homestays, you are taking this as a rural part of your rural entrepreneurship. This is your business that you are starting. So rural homestays, you have to take it very seriously and do it qualitatively and quantitatively. Quality is the key aspect here. So that is why the digital platforms play the key success in the rural homestays. Then comes the Nidhi portal, which we will discuss. One India, one registration. Ministry of Tourism has developed a national system of registration of homestays through the National Integrated Database of Hospitality Units, NIDHI, Nidhi, which will provide a unique identity to each homestay. They will help other digital marketing platforms for homestays to discover the rural homestays and also access the data from the national registration system. This will ease the onboarding of the homestays of various platforms a great deal. The platform will provide full access to all the states for registration and verification of units. The system may also provide a default booking system for these homestays who don't have any other option. So if you are running a homestay, kindly register it in Nidhi. Once it is registered in Nidhi, Nidhi itself will promote it in different websites, and a lot of tourists who are going to come to India, they will go to that particular website of Nidhi and see which is the best homestay where they can go in their own state, which is available, what are the facilities that are being provided. So all these things will make the entire effort very, very encouraging and motivating. Then facilitating adoption of digital technologies for rural tourism, very, very important. Rural communities have limited knowledge on how to take advantage of digital platforms and mitigate risks. Either constrained by the lack of understanding or know-how and resources, they are not able to leverage the digital tools to grow their tourism. The government will facilitate the adoption of digital technologies and platforms for rural homestays through various measures, enabling the broadband internet connectivity. Right now it is happening across the country. Most of the areas have been connected with the broadband network, and even they are putting up the cell phone towers also. Capacity building for homestays, and state governments and union territories would help to make a database of all rural homestays which can be there promoted through the digital platforms. So Nidhi platform is the best way you can register your rural homestay. Next comes the facilitating the digital technology. The capacity building, state governments and union territories make a database of rural homestays. Best thing is upload your entire thing in Nidhi portal. Let's go to the next one. The need for cluster for rural homestays. Yes, clusters are very, very important here, because if in your village may not have one full day program, it may have a half a day program. The nearby village will have another half a day program. So combined together can be one day program. or your village may have 1 day program, other village might have a 2 days program. The combined together rural cluster can be of 3 days program, beneficial for your village as well as for other 2 villages too, correct? So please think about these clusters. So how do they identify the clusters for rural homestays? The states, every state and especially tourism department and Panchayat Raj department should develop and having a potential for tourism development. The process of identification of clusters should be broad based, involving the stakeholders from the government. And who are the people who are there? State government, industry, NGO, rural communities and local businesses. What could be the themes? The themes are local crafts and cuisine, folk music, dance, puppet shows, theatre or street dramas, agri-tourism, organic farming, farm stays, herbal products, tea estates, especially hilly regions, yoga and meditation center, wellness centers, eco zones within and around the village. Then rural sports, very important, rural sports and cultural events, involve people in rural sports. That will be a very interesting one, they will be very happy. For a simple example, you can play, kabaddi with them, or local other sports, kho, not many people play. So start playing kho, kabaddi, or maybe the gilli danda, the regular one. So that's to bring them, the tourists should feel encouraged and motivated to participate in the rural sports. The national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, unique tribal culture. We have got enormous tribal culture in India. We have to promote each and every tribe, their own beauty of it, their culture, their concept, how they have come, their origins. All these ethnographic issues are very, very important, respecting them also. Then proximity to the existing tourism circuits. Somebody has finished with the pilgrim tourism, they can go for wildlife tourism. Somebody with wildlife can join rural tourism. That is why these circuits are very, very important. Then identified clusters for homestays may be provided for the requisite physical structure, digital infrastructure, social infrastructure, development of tourism products, marketing, etc. Apart from existing central and state schemes which can be used in convergence to meet the requirement, the state government should also develop plans. You should become a rural entrepreneurship. Don't depend just on the state and central government to fund you. You have to take things into your hands. Develop your own rural homestays. Market it possibly. Become a rural entrepreneur. Then Ministry of Textiles is one more department which we have not discussed, but they are also playing a key role here. Ministry of Textiles. Let's go to the next one. Like as I said, digital marketing, very important tool that has to be done on the rural homestays across all the platforms. All the search engine operations should lead directly to your rural homestay, maybe directly to Nidhi. Then overseas marketing, not only just marketing in India, you have to take the effort to participate in international stalls, and where tourism seminars or fairs are going on, please put up a stall for your rural homestays. That will give them a boost. That will at least print a small brochure. That will help them to understand what you can do. Online brochures should be there, good pictures and good light. Then market development assistance. Market development assistance schemes may be prepared specially focused on supporting the rural homestay promoters. It may support both domestic marketing and overseas marketing too. It may provide support for digital marketing. Then partnership with the industry. Then already the farm tours we are saying, the familiarization tours involving the tour operators, travel partners and famous travel writers and journalists to rural homestays. Include lot of famous people to come to and stay in your village. The best thing is the writers who are there, famous writers in the different languages, your own state language people, and ask them to come and stay in his or her own village and ask them to promote the rural homestays there. That itself you can forge a beautiful cultural bond with them. Then the Department of Panchayat Raj is there, Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare, that will also play a key role. Then Department of Youth Affairs. All these departments, Ministry of Textiles, Department of Panchayat Raj, Department of Agriculture and Family Welfare and Department of Youth Affairs, all are integrated in this effort. Then the Resource Center, if possible, kindly build a resource center for training people on capacity building for all the stakeholders. The state government and the Ministry of Tourism and Panchayat Raj should take that initiative to, at least in the wherever the district collector sits, let there be one room dedicated for training for the rural homestays, for the clusters. The conduct of community training and workshops, very important. Train the communities, they themselves, they should become self-sustainable. That is the most important aspect, is self-sustainable community workshops should be conducted. Then the training of the local guides, that is there, very important. The digital platform for quality certification. The quality certification, maybe 5-star rating, 3-star rating, reviews. If they consistently, one rural homestays gets regularly 5-star rating, that will be accredited on the national level. That will be promoted directly. The biggest marketing and promotion is the word of mouth. If a consumer is happy, satisfied, he himself will promote it. He himself will write a blog. He himself will upload all the information, photos, videos of his memorable visit in different social media sites, or he will himself make a beautiful, YouTube blog. So think about it, my dear friends. So state governments, Panchayat Raj institutions and industry should support all these people, especially. Please let us make the maximum utilization of digital platforms. Then we should award the rural homestays at national and state level. They need to organize the rural homestay community, group of rural homestay people together in one particular district, one particular state, exchange them with other particular state, and let them have a beautiful exchange about what are the good practices in that state, what are the good practices in this state. So this particular exchange will develop the rural homestays to a larger picture. Of course, definitely, as I told you, central ministries, Ministry of Tourism, NGOs, everybody. So capacity building for the rural homestays is very important, especially people who are educated, who are highly educated, studying the post graduation, who are in different heads of the departments. Kindly discuss with your district collector, sir, ma'am, and see that rural homestays are promoted. Governance and institutional framework, the entire thing, state nodal agency should have, there should be a national nodal agency, national is there, governance should be transparent and accountable, there should be a proper action plan to that. Then all the ministries which are here, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Development of Northeast region specifically, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Ministry of Textiles, all these people are integrated. They are all there to provide the best training, financial support, assistance, everything for your rural homestays. Kindly utilize all the people who are working in these different departments. Kindly meet the concerned secretaries of these departments with the help of your district collector. District collector plays the key role. The principal secretary also plays the key role. So with this, I would like to thank you for listening to this session on the National Roadmap for the Rural Homestays. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.